welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
And if you like listening to audiobooks, click the link in the description for a free 30-day trial with Audible. There's also a link for a $10 credit off Rakuten when you're online shopping.
Well, let's get ready to Married at First Sight, episode number 9. We start with the couples on day 18. We're at day 18 already. I know you guys saw the last episode with Chris and Paige and Mercedes had a conversation, but we're not going to start with them. We're going to start with Haley and Jacob. Haley and Jacob, they begin to talk about the housewarming that they had, about the situation that was going on, and there was a conversation had that we did not see.
Right. Where
Haley told Jacob that she wasn't physically attracted to him.
But he initiated the conversation. Yeah. He asked.
Yeah, he asked.
Are you physically attracted to me?
And she said, no.
She said, I can't tell right now. I don't know.
I don't care. If she said, I can't tell right now, I don't know, guess what?
Agree.
That is a no.
I agree.
And so he's feeling some type of way. He's in his feelings. He's feeling some type of way. He's upset that she doesn't feel physically attracted to him, which explains a lot. Which explains why she's having a situation with him in the first place. That she doesn't feel physically attracted. So, unlike Chris, who told Paige, I'm not really attracted to you, right. She's keeping it inside, and her voice is not saying it, but her actions are showing that she's not physically attracted. She's staying distant, she's staying away from him, and she's not really conversating with him.
Right, and she talks to her friends about it.
Yes.
About her not being physically attracted to him, maybe it's some way around it. Lauren, I think it was Lauren that asked her friend Lauren. She met with two of her friends.
Yeah, Caroline.
Lauren was like, so can you be in a relationship with him and build without the attraction being there first? And like Haley's in a quandary. She's not sure what she's going to do.
It goes back to my main point. And when you're on this show, you never know what you're going to get.
Right.
You signed up for Married at First Sight because your real life relationships have not worked. And so now you're leaving it up to these experts to pick somebody for you. And whether you're going to trust, like Jacob trusts the process. I don't care what you would have gave Jacob. Jacob would have followed. He's following through the process.
Right.
Haley, on the other hand, I'm not saying that she wanted a Prince Charming, but she's not following through the process. He may not be physically attractive to you, but there's other attributes he has that can make you gravitate to him. And I know looks are important to a lot of people, but we saw with Jamie, Otis, and Doug. She really wasn't physically attracted to Doug when they first met. But they begin to grow into love. They begin, as Pastor Cowell said, you grow into love. So they begin to grow into love. It wasn't about the looks for him, looks for her. It was for the looks for her at first, but not for him. But they grew into love. So it's possible to be able to have a good relationship with somebody, to somebody treat you right, and not at first be physically attracted to them, but there's something that you're attracted to, whether it's their kindness, whether it's their the way they talk to you, whether it's their singing ability, whatever the case may be, you're always attracted to somebody in some type of way. Yeah,
and so Haley decides to take the route that. Let me see if I can make myself more physically attracted to him. Yeah. Which she took a step that I was kind of like, that's kind of iffy. You can be taken the wrong way. But she went and she comes home one day and she's got gift bags for him.
Yes.
And come to find out, she's bought him some shirts.
But she took the advice from her friend Lauren. If you remember from the last episode where Lauren said, you know what, the 80s clothes can be fixed. You can help him and you can dress him a little bit. If you watched our review with other YouTubers this week, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Buying him some things and helping him out a little bit, getting out of the 80s, not eliminating his 80s stuff, but kind of support him into the way that I don't want to say the way that you want him to dress, but bringing him to modern times.
Well, but the thing about it is he doesn't always wear 80s stuff. I mean, we've seen him wear stuff that's not like 80s inspired, so...
But this, to me, I think her gesture was trying to build a conversation about building a relationship with him. Now, what she said, the way she said it was, hey, I'm going to buy you some clothes. She said, how did she say it? I'm going to buy you some clothes. Here, I want you to try these on. He was like, okay. But Jacob was still feeling some type of way anyway.
Right.
Jacob was still feeling some type of way from the physical attraction conversation that they had.
Yeah, because he liked the shirts. She got him several, like, T-shirts, short sleeve, long sleeve, couple of button-ups. He had can you try them on? Let's see what they look like. He had a little fashion show or whatever. And he liked the shirts, and he actually sat in one of the shirts while he went back to the physical attraction conversation, which, man, she was visibly irritated, not really wanting to have the conversation. I can't go from one day not knowing you into in love with you. You can't expect that. And that's not what he was saying. He was just like, how are we going to move from this point? Or are we just going to build a friendship? What are we doing?
But, again, I don't think it was the right moment. She's bought you some clothes. She's trying to help you out. She's trying to, I guess in her sense, apologize to you, try to be different, but at the same time, you're not being receptive to her trying. He wants her to be the way that he wants her to be. And as she said it, you want me to be feet in, head in first from day one, and that's not me. Everyone has told him that's not her. Mm-hmm. So accept that that's not her. Make it comfortable for her and not try to force or conform her to do what you want her to do the way she do it. And Pastor Cal even told him, ease up a little bit, lighten up a little bit, let it move and let it come natural instead of trying to force her. Now, I understand he feels some type of way that she's not physically attractive, but at the same time... Attracted to him. Attracted to him. But my other question is, what have you done to make her attracted to you in other ways?
Yeah.
What has he done to make her attracted to him in other ways?
Yeah, the other thing, big thing with them was, so the night they had the conversation about being physically attractive, she wanted to go check on Paige and go hang out with Paige, and so they show a clip of her hanging out with Paige, and it's like midnight, and he was like, you said you were going to hang out with Paige, you didn't say how long you were going to be, you were gone for a long time, you could have sent me a text, both of them talked about the miscommunication, that she didn't know that he expected her to come back earlier, and I'm thinking, why wouldn't you expect that? We gotta approach this conversation. But besides coming back early to have a conversation, God dog, girl.
But again, they all know the situation with Paige and Chris. Mm-hmm. This is your girlfriend. They built a relationship in the 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or in the process of getting to wedding day, right? And so she's checking on Paige. He doesn't know what Paige is going through. She could be up there sobbing, crying, whatever case may be. So it may take those couple hours. Now, here's a piece of the communication. She could have texted him and said, you know what, because of the situation they had in Vegas, by the communication, she said, well, you know what, Jacob, I'm still up here with Paige. She's still going through. I'll be home a little bit later. Right. Again, if anything that you need, blah, blah, blah. He could have texted her and said, you know what, Haley, is everything okay? Is everything okay? So
that's what I said on both sides.
It's both sides. He goes by, Haley, is everything okay? I'm getting ready to go to bed. What time do you think you'll be back? Yeah. Again, so it can't be one-sided in a relationship. It can't be one-sided when you're dealing with each other. And especially when you're only 18, 19 days in, you don't know each other yet. So you have to have communication. Again, she's been single for 7 years. You're asking her to break a behavior that she's not used to. Same thing when we talk about...
So, yeah, he's asking her to break a behavior. But at the same time, I feel like she's asking herself to break a behavior. When you get into this, you know that you're going to have to change some of your behaviors. Yeah. He's expecting her to do it, and she should expect herself to do it. You can't still act like this person has been single for 7 years. And I know she's having a hard time bringing her walls down.
She has a hard time bringing her walls down, but again, it's not like she was out at a club. She was upstairs.
I'm just talking about period in a relationship. Not even just when she was with Paige.
Right.
Just in it, period. Because that was her thing. She said she's trying to give him some space after the conversation. Again, basically, she didn't say you're trying to rush me, but I can't change that fast. But she does know. She should know. You got to make some changes. You can't.
And when we go to move on to the next couple, but they always say this. People say I can't change that fast. You have a time period.
Right.
This is the thing I always laugh at. And understand that you have a time period on this show that you only have a certain 8 weeks to adapt, 8 weeks to make a decision, and you're 18 days in, which means you're almost 3 weeks in, and there has been no movement on the needle. Either way, something has to change in that period of time, and if it doesn't, the relationship is not going to last.
Yeah. Then we see where the experts, they drop questions off to all the couples and their love questions. And so, of course, it's like the question was, what will it take for you to fall in love? And Haley and Jacob both are like, I think it's where we are right now, not in our relationship, but the conversation we had about the physical attraction, and they kind of rubbed it. We've already had, I don't think we want to be talking about love questions. He had told her before, I don't think you were ready to come into Married at First Sight. You weren't ready for a relationship. He did share about the person made him fall in love, and that he's not, what is this? He's not the kind of person to buy girl stuff.
Yeah, he's not. He said he's not the type of girl or person who go extra. He's not gonna bring flowers home.
Right.
He's not gonna bring the candy home. He's not gonna go extra for that. He expected to just to be there. And we got to realize too, take into account his age. We talk about women's biological clock ticking. Jacob's biological clock is ticking. So he's 38 years old. He has jumped head first into this thing. As we mentioned, he said, "This is my last chance." So he's doing in his mind. He's doing everything to try to make this work, but he's not. Maybe him buying her things, maybe him bringing things home, maybe him talking to her in a decent way and not pushing to her will make her more comfortable with him. And we saw that a little bit when they had, I think they went to dinner or they had together at the end. He hasn't done anything to make her comfortable. Look at Vegas. He called her a liar. Now she might have lied, but the way he approached it was wrong, because he had to apologize later. The way he's approaching now the physical attraction, though his approach is he's trying to approach it in a genuine way, but it's not right.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's
conversation
pushy. is very pushy.
It's very pushy.
It's very
so
pushy.
He's pushing her and he's pushing her away, and he's not drawing her closer because of his own insecurities and his own biological clock ticking.
Yeah. The only other thing with them, like you said, you mentioned they went out to the restaurant.
Yeah.
They had a good conversation. I think what's going to work for them is something that they did at a restaurant. Just talking about each of their experiences.
Yes.
She talked about her experience in Australia, how she went to a restaurant, she got a soft shell crab sandwich, and she felt like she had an allergic reaction, but she's going to get it again. Because maybe it wasn't really an allergic reaction. And he was like, well, I don't really want you swelling up on me up in here. They talked about the craziest stories that they had and how she wanted to actually move to Australia.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like that. She's there. She says, I want to try. They both established that they want to try. They want to get to know each other. And she says she's actually having a good time getting to know her husband. And they both have a more positive outlook on the situation. After they sit there and chit-chat and talk and get past the, I hate to say the big things, but let's work on the small stuff first.
It was conversation. The sex was trash. And
oh my gosh!
Again, she's not attracted to him, and he knew it was trash, so that's why he's being pushy.
Anyway,
I'm gonna stay on that.
The only other thing with Haley and Jacob, which involves all the couples, is we see he wants to try to do something. He throws a pool party, so he invites. It looked like it was just gonna be him and Haley at first, but he invites the other couples over to have a pool party at his house with all the angles and the shapes and the beach in the backyard.
The beach that he built, everyone comes except for Chris.
Well, obviously.
But I'm just saying, Paige was there too.
Vincent's not there too because he has something to do.
Yeah, Vincent's not there because he has something to do.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to the next couple. How about Ryan and Clara?
Ryan and Claire, we see them, opening up there, they're gonna make crafts. Mm-hmm. Clara says that she's a craft person. She likes making crafts. She likes doing things. And Ryan said that's not really his forte. But because Clara wants to do it, he's going to be very supportive and help her out. And work with her to, build crafts. Trying to connect and try to do things that she wants to do. And that's what you do in relationships. Even though you may not like something that your spouse likes or your partner likes, at least trying to integrate yourself and work with those type of things help build relationships. So they get there. They're making the craft. I think they're making a coffee mug. It look like a coffee mug. Mm-hmm. Claire said she's gonna keep hers and bring it at home. And they get into a conversation. Now they get into a conversation. They're talking about
their daily routine.
The daily routine, what's gonna look like, because we know Clara is a flight attendant. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what does it look like? How many days in a normal society outside of quarantine? What does it look like? And she's like, I fly a lot.
Yeah, she says she flies every week. And, Ryan's like, it's going to be a challenge seeing how their schedules mesh together because they have different schedules and spending time with each other. So, but again, this quarantine, so that's what it was. She's not really sure what it is right now. Mm-hmm. It's just not like that. So
I think the challenge with their schedules will be that they gotta have to make time. And we know about busy schedules. If you got busy schedules and you got different times, working different hours, you're gonna have to find that time. You can't go to bed like Ryan at 9 o'clock at night you know, you may have to stay up like Claire and have that conversation that you missed throughout the week, or you missed when you come home, or she may want him. Okay, my flight lands at 9. You know what I'm saying? And I need you to be, if you could, be up when I get home. You know, and he may have to stay up a little bit later to have that conversation or have that interaction with his wife, especially if she's been gone for several days. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna have to adjust. She may have to adjust and may have to, you know, I came in a late night and have to get up early in the morning as he gets prepared for work to have that conversation with him. So it's going to be a give and take here. It has to be a give and take. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to have to be something they both need to do.
Yeah. And so they get their love questions. Questions, how do you want to feel and be loved? And Ryan had a hard time answering these questions.
He acted like he was on the witness stand and they was trying him for murder or something like that. He didn't want to answer. If he could plead the fifth, he would have pled the fifth. But he was dodging the questions. Again, it goes back to the fact that he said, "I've never said love to somebody else." But you've been in love. Mm-hmm. You know what love is, or you know what love feels like. Whether it's the love with your parents, you know what that feels like. Right. You know what your siblings, you know what that feels like. And you know, and Claire was like, "Well, I've loved many times. I've loved a lot of people. Over and over again. I love people, who didn't love me back. I love people who, mistreated me." So I think she has an issue with love, and when I say an issue with love, there's a fine line. You can love everybody and be so giving, and then your heart get broken so many times, or you can be like Ryan, where you're waiting for people. You want to trust people and know people and get to understand people before you get love. They have to be somewhere in the middle, and he has to be somewhere in the middle, and she may have to ease up on the love because you won't get hurt so much, because you can't be so trustworthy that you give everybody your heart. Mm-hmm. And when you give everybody, and everybody doesn't want your heart, or everybody's not going to treat you the way that you want to be treated. So when you give everybody your heart, it leaves you open or vulnerable for heartbreak, and that's where she's at. She's giving everybody her heart, and at this point, everybody who's she's been in a relationship with has broken her heart. And so now she's like, okay, I want this one to be the right one. And Ryan, I know we feel each other emotionally, we feel each other physically. I just need you to say it.
What? Yeah.
Well, what?
Kind of physically.
Kind of physically. Yeah, that's a couple episodes later. But
yeah. But yeah, he talks about how it's going to take him some time to get to understand her and to be patient with him and give him some time. Yeah, he's a slow mover, and she is just really not used to moving that slow. And she really likes him, and she thinks the feeling is mutual, and I'm looking for some signs to really let me know it's mutual.
I mean, she wants those signs, and again, she mentioned there hasn't been any physical connection or haven't been sex. I'm not saying physical connection. Yeah, there haven't been any sex, and she really wants the sex. She remind me of. She does.
She really wants the sex.
She really wants the sex. The sex, all right? She reminds me of the girl from Henry's wife, Christina, from last season. Right. Where she said, in every relationship she had, we would have had sex by now. Mm-hmm. Or we would have been in this relationship. Again, to me, I think she equates sex with love. Yeah. And so when you have sex with me, when you love me. And then Brian is on the other hand, it's like, I want to have sex, but again, he equates sex with love too, but I want to do it right. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure I don't hurt you.
I don't know. I be feeling sometimes virgin vibes from Ryan. I be feeling virgin vibes.
It might be virgin vibes from Ryan. He may just not have said it. He might be a virgin.
Yeah, I'm getting virgin vibes from him. But then we see Ryan, he does take a sweet gesture. Apparently Claire has mentioned to him how much she likes donuts, and we know he's a workout freak,
health nut.
A health nut. Even though the shelves in his pantry and in his cabinet, they can't hold up his healthy stuff because it's broke. But anyway. And so he invites her to this spot that she's never been to before. They got really nice donuts. He got a plate full of donuts. Yeah. A whole little display of donuts, so they can sit there and talk. And she was moved by the gesture. She was like, he listened because he realized, she really likes donuts. So he's got all the donuts there. And she is having a good time with them donuts. She is tearing them up.
She's enjoying the donuts.
Each and every one of them.
And she's enjoying it. And so they're having a good moment. But then it takes a turn for, I don't want to say the worst. But it takes a turn.
Yeah.
Because he asked her a question. and he asked her, what motivates you?
Yeah, what motivates you?
What motivates you? And she goes into the average answer. What money motivates me?
What? Yeah.
Works motivate me. Things that I like to do motivate me. And he goes into as if he's Eric Thomas or Inky Johnson. He goes into a motivational speech.
That's what she said. Well, because she said, well, if you're asking me, what motivates me to go to work every day, obviously I'm going to work because I need money to pay my bills.
Yeah.
So that's my motivation. So basically, her motivation was shallow to him.
Yeah.
And so he got deep into it. He was like, my motivation is knowing basically whose shoulders I sit on and the place that I'm at now. I didn't get here. It comes from, years from the line of people that have established this before me. And, I have a standard to uphold, all basically all like that.
He gets philosophical. Socrates come out, Aristotle comes out.
And it is so funny because while he's talking, she is munching. She's just eating the donuts.
She is drowning herself in donuts and not in his conversation. She's like Homer Simpson. Donuts.
Right.
So she's not even paying attention to him whatsoever. She's basically if you could stop talking now. And not in a bad way, dog, you done took this whole conversation to the left.
Yeah, she was like, donuts are fun and sweet and, and it don't go with this deep conversation.
No, this ain't type of party. We're in a donut shop.
It does not go with this deep conversation.
It doesn't go with the deep conversation.
And side note, again, same thing with the pottery. He's a health nut. And he acknowledged that she likes the donuts. So he said, I'm doing something that she would like to do. Because a couple of donuts, he was like, man, those things are sweet. But yeah, so I don't know. It was a nice gesture with the donuts, but then it went off the rails because this whole what motivates you talk. And he just got real deep with it. And she was like, I'm into this cookies and cream donut.
Yeah. I want to see in the tail end, I want to see him, I want to see her do some things for him.
Yes.
I'm never always the one-sided type person. We see this sometimes one-sided. I want to see what she does for him, special, that we can see on that we can see on camera.
In the preview, you know what she does special for him. But anyway, let's go to Brianna and Vincent. And oh my gosh, they just warmed my heart tonight. It's one part that I was like, oh gosh, come on. But they just warmed my heart. They had a whole conversation about, with their card, about the love conversation.
And one thing to add, we didn't see them till late into the episode.
Yeah.
We didn't see them till real late into the episode. But when we do see them, they already got their card and they're having the conversation about love.
Mm-hmm. And so, Brianna was like, what love for her is when she realized that she loves somebody is, I'm the type of person, she says this, I'm the type of person that looks at people's flaws. I notice their flaws. I'm like,
yes, she does. And she pointed them out. Champagne Vinny, watch out, baby. Champagne Vinny, watch out.
So she points out flaws, and she said, when I'm at the point where I can look past those flaws, she said, I know I'm in love. It's like, okay, so I'm over that. That's this person. That's how I know I'm in love. And
Vincent said, you know what, I like that your answer because again, I read into it. Vinny understands that he has a lot of flaws. Again,
or she has some too that he gonna have to look past.
But the way he said it was that I'm glad you said it like that because he understands that there's some things in me, some insecurities in me. So I'm not right all the time. I spill champagne. I squeeze the toothpaste from the middle. I drop things like I did at soap. So I have some flaws, and I need you to look past my flaws so I'm not feeling embarrassed.
Or maybe not even that way. Maybe to go along with what you're saying, he appreciates that because he knows that he can put it in perspective. Okay, so she's not picking with me and pointing out my flaws. Right. I won't take it so personal because I know she's saying, when I love you, I can look past those. It's not a deal breaker. Yeah,
and look past me doesn't mean I'm not going to joke on.
Oh, yeah, right.
We can have a laugh. I'm going to have a laugh at you.
Oh, absolutely.
But and that's what he loves about it. So, to me, that's where I got it from was like, okay, I know I got some flaws. I know she loves me when she starts looking past some of the things that I mess up.
Yeah. She did acknowledge. They talked about, are your walls down? She said, yeah, my walls are down. He's like, I could tell your walls are down. Mine are down too. And I like your definition of love. And then for me, he was like, I think, I'm in a place where, I might be saying those words pretty soon. I might be saying I love you pretty soon. But I was like, oh, okay. Gosh, who'd have thunk it? He said pretty soon, like in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, but you can tell every time to Pastor Cal because she uses the term I'm growing in love, and that's a Pastor Cal thing. And which I found out reading here, reading and researching. We may not always see the experts on camera, but I did find out and found an article that they meet with the experts all the time.
Okay.
They meet with the experts all the time, but it's not always on camera. So when we think they're not meeting with the experts, they are. The experts are around, but it's just not shown on camera. So I know a lot of people wondering when we get to the last couple, like, God, dog, what are the experts saying? Again, experts give them advice, but some people don't take the advice that they give. But so we find here, this is a couple who's taking the advice of the experts who are doing what they, because again, her conversation, her wording is what Pastor Cal say, I am growing in love.
Yeah, and they're both growing in love. And then they share with each other. He was like, I love you. And she's like, oh, I love you too. Yeah. Mr. My Mr. That is so cute. I just was like, they make me all tingly and all up. Like, ah.
I'll drop, while y'all watching, I'll drop that article in the description link so you guys can check it out as well. But it's a pretty interesting article. It's from a couple years ago dealing with Matt and Amber, where Pastor Cal talks about them, how they spend, at least 40, 50 hours a week counseling the couples.
All right, so fast forward to day 22 with them. Vincent's in the kitchen eating when Brianna comes in, presumably from work. And, they talk about how their day went or whatever. And he has this, what were you about to say?
No, I'm going to say, because, remember, I like this because I always go back to what she said. She said when she come home, she wants somebody to be there to meet her, to rub her feet, to be cordial to her, to treat her right. So she's getting, if you go back to when she talked about it, she's getting what she wants. Vincent was home when she's there. He told her he had a little bit of a rough day, but he was still willing to meet her at the door. Hey, babe, how you doing? How was your day? So that's something that she wanted. So she feels bubbly when he says that, and excited when she says that because that is something that was on her list.
The funny thing I remember with this too is he was eating chips and guac.
Yeah.
And when she gave him a kiss, when they kissed, she's like, oh my goodness, got guac on my lip. I was like, she's so funny. Like, oh my God, you got guac on my lip. But it didn't go anywhere from there. So I thought that was good because he could have been like, oh my gosh, now she's talking about how I'm getting food on her face. So that was good. But anyway, and so he talks to her about this board that her aunt, I think, or mom gave them, with their names on it or whatever. And so he says, I want to bring you into my culture because he's looking at, we're going to be in this for a while. So, into my Dominican culture and we speak Spanish. So I want to bring her in so she'll feel a part. Like when we go places with family so she'll understand, what we're talking about. So he says, every day I'm going to put on this board 4 Spanish words. I'm going to put 4 Spanish words so you can learn. And, let's see. So the Spanish word he had agua on there,
which is water.
I can't remember what was the first one.
Bed.
Oh, he did have bed on there. That wasn't the first one. He had comma, which is bed. So he said I'm gonna put the Spanish and the English, and then he had bicicleta, which is a bicycle. And then he's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, I'll be right back. And she's like, where are you going? And then you hear this knock on the door, because I guess I didn't realize he left out. I thought he was somewhere in the apartment. But he left out, and he comes back with a bike.
Yeah.
Because she had made a comment about riding bikes and wanting to do. So he comes in with her bike. He's got a little bell on it for her. I'm going to get a basket for Cookie. It'll be here in a few days. She was just like really
glitter
touched.
Sparks on the wheel.
Yeah.
So he did it up.
Like, come on, Vincent.
So he came through. Man, brothers, if your girl like riding bikes, bring a bike home. Somebody else did. I brought a bike home. Anyway.
He didn't bring it home. But he got me a bike for Christmas.
Boy.
He surprised me. I didn't know. I've been talking about needing to ride a bike some more stuff.
Yeah, you got to be a good listener. On a serious, if you're as a spouse or a partner, you have to be a good listener.
But I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it. I wouldn't even think about it. You wouldn't think about it. Not to get it.
But you got to be a good listener though, because again, we look at the theme of the episode. People have listened. We had Ryan who listened. You had Vincent who's been listening. But in relationships, you have to listen to the things that are unspoken. or the things just in regular conversation where your spouse may say, I need a vacation, man, and you just go plan a vacation. Or I need a night out, and guess what? You go plan a night out. Or I need some time to rest, and you allow them just to rest, and you take care of everything that's going on in the house, or you take care of the kids, you take care of. So you have to be able to listen in order to build that relationship and that trust, and that's where Vincent and the other guys have done in this episode. They've been able to listen and pick and present to their partners that they were listening.
Yeah. So with all the good stuff up front, then here comes the Brianna. She had a great idea that she wanted to go dancing, wanted to go salsa dancing, and even though Vincent's Dominican, he doesn't salsa dance, so this is new for him. And so, they're excited to go dancing. Brianna's especially excited. It was something we could do together because I know he likes to dance,
right? So
we could dance together. And so he is really nervous. She's excited. It's a part of his culture that they're gonna be able to share with. But he's nervous because he does dance, but not salsa dancing. But he's willing to try it for his wife. And so the instructors tell him, move your foot like this. No, not that left, your other left. Not that left, your other left. And he's messing up. And it reminds me of one of the other couples. Gosh, I feel like it was it Jonathan?
And no, it was
the one that started sweating through his clothes.
Yes.
It was Jonathan. Like he was frustrated. He was like, I can't do it no more. I'm sweating. And same thing with Vincent. Vincent's messing up the steps. It's hot in there. He's sweaty.
Yeah.
It's like he's embarrassed why I'm not getting it straight. After a while, like they have to come together and dance, and he's like, it's very obvious.
Jonathan was from Texas season.
Yeah,
with Bobby and Danielle. The season
same thing. So he is embarrassed, uncomfortable, and then he just gets to the point and says, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here anymore.
Again, it goes back. We got to go back to the Champagne Vinny incident. All right, it becomes embarrassment.
Yeah, I understand.
It becomes embarrassment. I'm Dominican, and I can't salsa dance.
Not even that so much.
And
I'm a man. I'm not getting it right in front of my wife.
But again, too, my heritage. I can't salsa dance. I can't do this. Something I'm supposed to be able to do. I'm telling you, he's embarrassed. Again, it's embarrassment again. That's like saying African American, you can't dance. Some of us can't. I'm just saying. But it becomes embarrassing because I can't do it for my wife. I'm getting frustrated. I'm messing up. Again, it goes back to that insecurity as I feel like little Vinny again, right? Because I can't get this. She provided this for me, and she wanted us to do it together, and I'm messing up. But it's okay because, again, you got to realize you can't be perfect in this situation. It's something new for you. You haven't tried it. You're not going to get out of the gate and be that great at it the first time you do it because you're not used to it. Now, regular other dancing, yes, salsa dancing is a skill. It's an art. Yeah. Something that is an art that has to be taught. So it's just like ice skating or anything else that you have not done. So it becomes a skill that you have to learn. And then guess what? You ain't stepping her toes because she had her toes out. We didn't see. You're fine. Guess what? That's a win for you, bro.
Yeah.
That is a win. So you got to look at, okay, I got part of this down. I didn't get all of it down. But guess what? My wife organized this. We're having a good time. Let me relax. Let me enjoy it. And guess what? If I keep progressing, I'll get it. I just didn't get it day one. And this frustration ruins the moment. He has to understand how to handle frustrating situations, how to not be too flustered, and how not to give his spouse that energy when he is frustrated, because he gave her energy and she can understand that. Your spouse not stupid. They know when you mad. She is 22 days in and she already understands when Vince is upset and mad. Yeah,
I think that to me that was the worst part. So she was like, did you like it? How did you enjoy it? He was like, it was all right. And she was like, you had fun. It was all right. He kept saying, and she was like, it's obvious that he hated it. Like, that he was upset, frustrated, didn't care for it too much. And so
I don't want to say he hated the.
Well, that's what she said. She, like she could tell, that he didn't like it. Well, not hated it. I'm saying that he didn't like it.
He didn't like the fact that he was not successful at it. I think he enjoyed what was going on and being with her. He just didn't like the fact that he wasn't successful because he became frustrated.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about that, but I'm just talking about the fact that his mouth was saying one thing, but his posture and everything was saying something else besides why he didn't like it. her thing was, you're telling me it was all right, but I could tell you're not feeling it.
Written all over your face.
I mean, yeah, I mean, to her and everybody, you know, he was like, it's all right. It was all right.
You don't have to say a word.
And so she tried to make it better, saying, you know, oh, I was nervous coming into it, you know, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I would get it. You know, try to bring his walls down some. And so she says, you know, are you okay? And I don't know if that helped any, or he just got tired of playing a role. She was like, you know, are you okay? And he was like, no, I'm not.
Again, to me, I take that because he's being honest.
Mm-hmm.
If he could have said that 5 minutes earlier, it would have been straight like, no, I'm not okay now. I wish, they ended the scene there. I hope he would say, no, I'm not okay because X, Y, Z.
Right.
Because you can't, I know no is a complete sentence. But after no, there should be some other things. I'm not okay because I felt frustrated. Again, share with her why you're not okay.
Yeah.
That's my only thing with Vincent. We talk about communication. Share with your spouse or your partner why you're not okay. Not they can fix it, but they can understand. So if it happens again, they know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, in relationships, we have people who are fixers. Most men are fixers. Most women are compassionate and they listen.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens there. I hope they can rebound, which they usually do.
Yeah,
they usually do. So now let's go to Virginia and Eric. We start with them going golfing. She sucks at it.
Yeah, but before we even get to them golfing, we realized Eric had a little clip that this is his first trip away. He was in D.C.
Yes.
He was in D.C. And she was back at home in Atlanta. And so he realized this is their first trip away, and we see they go golfing, but we go cut into it.
To try to get some time together.
Get some time together because Virginia talked about she was away, then Eric was away. They really hadn't been that much time with each other, and so this is one of the few times that they have opportunity to really get together.
Mm-hmm.
And my 17-year-old daughter's funny. She's like, why didn't you go to Top Golf? Everybody don't have a Top Golf. And
but they do have one in Atlanta.
They got one, but they just went to a golf range.
They do.
Okay.
So yeah, they haven't been spending a lot of time together, and I think she actually, if I remember correctly, she actually felt like, you know, where she's always talking about having her time in this space. She felt like, oh, she didn't get as much communication from him. You didn't text me as much, and so
it was
like the shoe was on the other foot. While I'm away, you want to talk to me 50 million times a day, but while you're gone, you know, I didn't hear from you that much. But let's also keep in mind, he wasn't gone away for a wedding. I'm sure he was working. So he might not have that much time to communicate. I'm not saying it's right. But she actually did feel the separation. She had some time to herself, but she wanted more of him. Even.
Right, which is good. I think this helps their relationship, but she also got to realize and understand. When she said that, I'm like, I don't know what Eric's flying to, but dog probably spent 6 to 7 hours in the air.
Right.
His cell phone ain't working.
Right.
Up in the air.
Even if it is working up in the air, he's the freaking pilot.
He's the pilot. So maybe you could have sent her a text, you know what, we just landed in XYZ city. You know what I'm saying? I just landed in this city. I'll call you later when I get to the hotel room. Whatever case may be, but realize he's flying. He's in the air majority of the time. Mm-hmm. He can't communicate with you every hour. But again, it should be reciprocated because if you want her to communicate with you, he should be communicating with her. Not every hour, every 2 hours, but when you have a free moment, hey, nothing wrong, you know what, I made it here safely, boom, boom, and keep it moving.
Yeah. And he just goes into the conversation again. When I came into this, I need somebody that can adjust to my schedule because basically, I mean, he is very rigid with this. And I understand. He was like, this is my career, this is my life, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be this way for a while.
Either you're going to accept, she's either going to have to, he's to the point. And he's so rooted and grounded in the military and flying that no one's going to change it. He's finding someone to adjust to his schedule and adjust to his lifestyle.
Which and I understand, but also it's almost too rigid. Like you're not trying to bend it all. It's ways that you can do something. But he's just like you said. This is my schedule. I need somebody to fit in this.
Mm-hmm. He's not going to bend.
Have to fit in
I'm
this.
not giving up my pilot license. I'm not giving up this.
But at the same time, he wants her to make changes. Maybe her thing is this is what I do every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We go out partying. You want me to change that, but you're not gonna change your career. I know it's two different things, but he's very rigid about her changing and him not changing. You can't be like that.
Yeah, he's very rigid. That's where he's at, and the way he communicates that. it's kind of forceful.
Yeah. They had their love questions. Eric talks about how he has love for Virginia, but he's not in love with her yet. But he's not opposed or thinking that it won't get there. He's just not in love with her yet.
But he loves some of the things that she do.
Yes.
He loves some of the things that she do, some of the attributes that she has. So he loves that aspect of her. And so, and he's trying to get there with her. And he wants her to get there with him.
Yeah. She acknowledged they see love differently. He said that the 3 years since he's been divorced, he's dated quite a bit of girls, but not really been in love with them. And which I thought was odd. He kind of like said he bases whether he's in love or how he's feeling about on his last relationship, but he's giving us the impression that marriage was like a marriage of convenience. I guess maybe they did like each other or they fell in love with each other. But he kind of said it like, I compare other things to this. And, she has a conversation later too that makes me nervous. It's like, if that's the best love, then, what are you expecting from me?
Yeah, what do you expect from me? But she goes into too about how she has never seen love because of her family, because of the divorce situation. I think I mentioned that on another review, that based off what she sees and her behavior and what she has saw, she don't know what love is. Yeah,
she said the most example that she's seen of love, the most accurate that she can tell is the one between her sister and her partner.
Yeah, her sister and her partner.
It's so much back and forth, and like you said, marriage and divorce and marriage between her parents. She doesn't really.
She doesn't have nothing to measure to.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't know how a marriage should be. And I'm, at least Eric didn't really say that in this episode. Well, we married. This is how a marriage should be. I know you don't, but she her reference points.
Mm-hmm. And Eric is concerned that is she really ready? Are you in this for the right reasons? Can you be in love? Especially when it doesn't help that when she was like, when I get in relationships, I don't like to be bound in, and this is about the time that I be running. Yes. This is about the time that I be leaving it alone.
She literally said, "This will be the week I'll be gone."
He was like, "Well, I'm glad you're still here." She knows her pattern. Usually I'll be out. I'll be out. So I think that's a good thing for them. Maybe they can get there. That she's sticking with it. Hopefully, they can each bend a little bit and get there. But anyway, let's see. He fixed her dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, he fixes her dinner at his. We see them a few of the couples going back to their residence to do some things, but I understand why Jacob did it, and I understand why Eric is doing it. So he wants to set up a little romantic space that he can't do. He has all the equipment and stuff at his apartment. So
condo, sorry. I don't want to disrespect the man. He had a condo, not an apartment. Don't want to disrespect him.
Yeah. So he fixes her dinner there.
Yeah.
She said she came home. She had a note from him to come to his place, and she shows up and he's got dinner. Mm-hmm. And
he set the ambiance with the lights.
Yes, and he said he had written her a song. He played her song on the guitar. But they talk about, again, this thing that you said, the best love that you had, you comparing this to your ex-wife. She's nervous about that. And that, does she feel like she has a lot to live up to and that stresses her out? And he's like, I'm not saying, I felt like that was the greatest at that time, but I'm not saying it's the greatest.
Yeah.
I've learned since then, and, this can be the greatest. I know that there's more. And
that's what y'all realize too. That was his reference point. But again, if you're doing what the ex didn't do, you'll be able to tip that point into your favor.
Uh-huh.
He came in with a clean slate. He realized he has something to measure to. He's been married before.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have anything to measure to. So again, you keep continually doing what you're doing, and he loves her. And I watched Unfiltered, and Eric is not going anywhere. I think he's already told her that, look, I'm not leaving unless you do X, Y, Z. And so she knows that he's going to be there.
Yeah. And he said he hadn't had a hint of the feelings that he had with his ex. He hadn't had a hint of those feelings in between there, but he's feeling that with Virginia.
Yeah.
And he doesn't feel like it's forced. I don't feel like I'm doing it just because we got married at first sight. I really genuinely feel this way for you, and same thing for her. And again, like we said, he does a pretty light show for her, the guitar and the song. And he tells her, she was like, oh, you probably do this for all the girls. He said, I've never brought a girl back here to play the guitar for her and do the lights. He said, I've never done that. So, you know, he says, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, it's
smooch.
feeling the same.
They smooching and goes off camera.
She's like, oh, I love you too. All right. So, boom.
Here we go.
We always hold it to the end. Because it's so much. It's so much, but we're gonna hit it fast and hard. Pause. We're gonna hit it fast and hard with Paige and Chris real quick. So we start, obviously, the last episode, Paige and Chris are not together. He's doing whatever he's doing. But we see Paige meet with Pastor Dwight, which I was like, okay, this is different. And the one thing I noticed, like, it's just him. His wife is not with him. It's just the two of them. It's kind of sketchy.
Pastor Dwight wrong.
Rather sketchy. It didn't look like, I mean, obviously they set the camera up a certain way. It's during the pandemic. But I'm like, it don't look like a whole lot of people in this restaurant either. Usually if you meet one-on-one, you're a man of God, you meet one-on-one with a woman, you want somebody else there and you want it to be in a crowded space.
You got production team and all that.
I know that, but you know what I'm talking. I ain't talking about production.
But listen, Pastor Dwight is wrong. That man, and I like, and trust me, I'm all in for pastors.
And we like what he said too.
And I like what he said, but again, your boy, that's your boy. You have a relationship with Chris.
Yes.
You have Chris is your boy.
Don't be inserting yourself.
Chris is your parishioner. You just officiated this wedding. Mm-hmm. You didn't counsel us before the wedding. Mm-mm. You didn't know me before the wedding. Mm-mm. You didn't even know my name until the day of, maybe because a couple hours before. He really, in my opinion, I agree with Chris on this. I don't really agree with Chris on much, but he shouldn't have called Paige and had a conversation. Out of concern, whatever, if you're going to meet with Paige, guess who you need to meet with Paige with? With Chris being there.
And then, like I said, with your wife. Yeah, his wife should have been there.
So how are you calling Paige? Are you calling Paige because you're not a pastor? Mm-hmm. Are you calling Paige as a concerned friend for Chris?
That's what they tried to say. Paige said that he heard about, the way Chris is trying to let the relationship, let the marriage, it's not even relation, the marriage go, how he wants to get divorced, and he was concerned, and so he wanted to sit and talk to her and express his concern. I guess kind of like to know, so she knows from the friend side. We don't agree with what Chris is doing. Maybe that's what it was. That's
a phone. You could have a phone call conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, you're meeting with this man's wife. You're not counseling session. They didn't ask. You're not. You said it. You're not Pastor Cal.
I was just about to say. I was like, who? You ain't the expert. What you think you gonna intervene? This is not your job. That's what the experts are there for. Your name is Pastor Dwight, not Pastor Cal.
And trust me, and I like what he said.
Yes.
I enjoyed what he said. What he said was correct, but I think the way he got there was incorrect. So
and we see that later. We fast forward. So, they talk about the situation, what's going on, and how he wants to get divorced, and all this back and forth. And Pastor Dwight says the same thing that my husband said, the other week. He said that the scripture says something about a double-minded man's unstable in all his ways. Basically, he calls Chris double-minded. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
I want to add to that, and now you can see why Chris is mad with Pastor Dwight on social media. If you haven't found it out, you haven't checked it out. But you see why, again, he called him double-minded. Then
he puts his business out there.
This is where I have another problem with Pastor Dwight. You put this man, Chris was he was engaged before when I met him.
Yeah, when I met him a few years ago, he was engaged before. She was like, oh, really?
Yo, he shady. Again, shady. You put information out there that didn't need to be out there. If Chris wanted her to know that he was engaged prior to Mercedes, he should have told her. It's not your duty as his friend nor his pastor to tell that young lady that.
Yeah.
You added fuel to the fire. Yeah. And again, I like everything Pastor Dwight said, but you gotta say right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
To me, that was wrong.
Yeah. He talks about how he acknowledged, and he said to Chris too that he feels like Paige is a good fit for Chris. Basically he's messing up. Paige says, I'm done with it. I don't feel. They even talk about the fact that I don't think that Mercedes is having a baby. I don't think she's pregnant. And
again, Pastor being messy.
Yeah.
Pastor.
He kind of said that too. He was like, I don't know either. And Paige was like, but you know what? I ain't gonna deal with that too much. I ain't gonna get
into it. The parishioner had enough sense to tell the pastor, I'm shutting it down.
But she brought it up.
But again, she had enough sense that he could be like, you know what, I'm not talking about that.
Well, yeah.
Because then you're insinuating that she's not pregnant. So now you're putting doubt into her mind, again, about her husband. This is not a relationship, about her husband, about the girl that she just met with. You're putting more doubt into her mind that, this girl might be lying. Again, Paige already has those feelings, but as a Pastor Dwight, you can't, as Chris's friend and pastor, you should be neutral in this situation.
Yeah. And so, but Pastor Dwight says, okay, well, all that aside, if Chris said he wanted to work it out, what would you say? Where would you go with it? And, Paige's like, she didn't even really answer the question. But
before we get to that, granted, and we'll get to it in a minute, granted, Pastor Dwight did call Chris and told Chris that he met with Paige.
We do it right now.
All right, let's get to it.
Yeah, we do it right now. So, Chris, when all the couples meet when they meet at Haley and Jacob's, the girls have a little talk outside, and they asked, how's everything going with you? And, Paige was like, I met with the mother of his child. We had a conversation. And then, Chris let me know he wants to meet. And Claire's like, again? He want to meet again? Like, what else do you have to say?
What else we got to talk about?
We already had this. And so, anyway, she ends up meeting up with him. She's there already. He comes and he's like, he walks up, what's up? It was really kind of dry. The what's up? How you doing? He already had, to me, he looked like he already had this smirk on his face, like, oh, this gonna be good.
He already knew what he was gonna do. He had motives. Yeah. He already had his motives and intentions. Like, this is what we're getting. This is what's getting ready to go down. This is what I'm gonna do. And the reason he called the conversation was to confront her.
Yeah, basically. And so, but it was a lot of shade in there. He was like, oh, you smiling? Oh, you smiling at me? I'm excited you smiling because I was mad at you last Sunday.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad no more. I didn't really like how the conversation went last time. But anyway, he said, so I see you during this week. You've had a lot of time to think and to speak and talk to people. Oh yeah, I know. His face like And I don't think she wasn't not trying to tell him. If you had just opened. The conversation, but he was like, yeah, he told me. You met with Pastor Dwight, and off to the side, he was like, I ain't feeling that man. I ain't fooling with him no more. I don't like how he did it.
You ain't have a conversation with my wife without me.
He said, you should have told me up front that you wanted to sit and talk to her, not after the fact.
Not after the fact.
You should have told me beforehand, and we agreed. That's what we said. You don't just go talk to that man's wife.
Nah, y'all have a conversation because she didn't solicit it. It would have been different if Paige would have called him. Like, Pastor, I got a question, blah, 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 blah. You went and reached out to call her and say, and whether your intention's probably been good to go check on her, but again, still at the same time, can we get you, if you're going to be the counselor, can I get you and Chris together?
Yeah. And like I said, Chris said, he was on my side at the wedding. He should have let me know. I don't have nothing for him ever again. I'm not fooling with him no more. But, Paige just says, he did one, we talked and we met, whatever. And Chris was hung up on that. That's what he came there to blow her spot up. I know you talked to Pastor Dwight, whatever. And he was like, but since then, I don't really, over the past week, I haven't had no new revelations.
I was mad at you last Sunday.
Yeah. So she was like, if you don't have no new revelations, what am I here for? What am I doing? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And so,
she gets up and says, I'm done.
Yeah, she walks away. She was like, I don't have time for this. And then we see her talking to the producer. She was like, see, I didn't come here for this. I didn't come here for no bull, for him to waste my time. I'm not doing it. The producer was like, well, go back. Let's make sure,
They manipulated her. It is what it is. They manipulated her to go back and have a sit down in that chair. At this situation, and we'll find out what happened later, Paige should have kept running.
Yeah. But when they use the fact that why don't you tell him that you don't feel like your time being, you don't feel like you're wasting your time.
Again,
that's what you should go back and tell him.
Again, manipulation by the production staff to get her back in that seat, to get her back in the front of Chris. We already know that when she's talking, she's weak. Till her guard go down, as long as you can't let a snake keep talking, guess what? You're going to get bit by the snake. And we'll find out eventually she's going to get bit by the snake here. And I've lost a whole bunch of respect for this young lady.
I mean, she had built it up last week, and that it's going
This
down
young lady, she had built it up there, and she was gone. She let the production staff and everybody else talk her back into the seat in front of this man, and we find out they have a conversation.
Here you go. So here you go. She said, "You got me looking crazy out here. I don't want it." He said, "I'm not trying to have you looking crazy. I didn't come in here to break no hearts. I got my walls up. You know, I'm defensive, and I just don't know which decision to make." Which, and honestly, for real, I understand his dilemma.
He's already made the decision.
He has, but he's going back and forth because he doesn't know. Double-minded man, but also indecisive. He's like, I don't know. What if I decide to be with Mercedes and to raise, because I don't want anybody else to raise my kid. But what if I go this way and it doesn't work out in the way that I should have gone, was to be with you? What if I be with you, decide to be with you, and this is not the right place for me to be? Or what if it is the right place? He's like, and that's what happens when you have to make a decision. You have to weigh those two things. And he is stuck in between two things.
And I totally understand that. And trust me, I understand about weighing the decisions, and he has to weigh these decisions. He has these options. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. Because your plan blew up last week. Mm-hmm. Because you wanted sister wives. Right? You wanted both of them to be together. It didn't pan out. Now you're on plan B, C, D, and E to try to figure out what you want to do. And now you're running back to her. Well, you wanted to be with your baby mama. You already, think about it. You told this girl I'm not attracted to you. Mm-hmm. You told her I want a divorce. I've already sought my lawyers. You brought your baby mama in front of her to try to confront her. And now you're talking about you making a decision. Dog, you've done so much to sabotage your own relationship in this situation that I can't get with you. I can't rock. I understand your feeling,
but he said it.
I can't rock with you on that.
Right, and God knows I'm not on Chris's side, but that's basically what he said. That is why he's sabotaging himself. 'Cause I just don't know. He's double-minded. He's indecisive.
Again, when you don't know, you listen to sound advice. If I don't know how to get to point A to point B, but my GPS is telling me to go down this road, take this direction, I trust the GPS. So he had his friend Michael, he'd have had his friend Pastor Cal, he'd have had Pastor Dwight, all these people who have told him, this is what you need to do, brother, who's tried to intervene and help him out. As I mentioned, they have counseling outside. I'm sure he had conversations outside of this. I'm sure he probably talked to some other people, maybe Matthew Stevenson, whoever, I don't know. But I'm sure there's some people who gave him some sound advice. He's not heeding the sound advice.
Yeah, no, he's not. But he goes into this whole thing, I'm afraid I might be happy and I might fall in love with you. And then, again, it's just a whole lot.
And she's sucking it up like a sponge.
And she said, I appreciate your honesty, and I'm taking all that into consideration. I know you got decisions to make. I got a lot to lose, too.
She's already
Mainly myself, my mind, my good sense.
She's already lost a lot.
Relationships, whatever. He told us you don't deserve to be an option. You're a good girl. They matched us up, and you don't deserve to be an option. And he kind of acknowledges, I'm making you an option. I went into this to get married, whatever. But so he asked her, what do you want to do? What do you want? And so, she wanted, she says, what I wanted is for you to give us a chance. You didn't give us a chance. When the situation happened, you was like, got peace. That was her problem. She wanted, and he was like, well, we need a reset. This is the second time we heard this. They had a reset on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
So second time.
22 days, you had 2 resets.
We resetting again. So let's just start all over again. She was like, yeah, let's start with a clean slate. And so, hi, my name is Paige. Hi, my name is Chris.
The views of Glenn is that of Glenn and not of Jac and Glen. I will put that statement out there right there. She is such a glutton for punishment. My problem here with this is that you got tricked, you got duped, you're back in a toxic relationship. He has not shown you anything different.
No.
He has not said anything different for you to even start over with this man. And again, there's no relationship that's been there. I understand that he's married. That is technically still your husband. But how many times should you continue to get hurt? There has been no movement and change. He didn't even apologize. He didn't even say he was sorry. He didn't even say, guess what, you know what, my bad. Matter of fact, last week that y'all had a conversation, he left with another woman.
And did.
So you don't even know, and within that last week, the other woman who was the mother of his child, have they had sex? Have they done the do? and you're willingly and able just to start over just that quickly and to accept him back into your life because he is who he is, dog, there's some things that need to change. Again, she didn't even set any boundaries in this conversation. She like, let's start over. It should have been, okay, you want to start over? Here's the boundaries that I need. This is what I need from you, Chris. This is what we need to do. These are expectations of Paige. If you cannot meet the expectations of Paige, we can't be together. And I understand people say give a second chance, third chance, fourth chance. Guess what? If it's destroying your mental health and your mental stability, if it's messing you up, again, this is my biggest point. Think about this, and I want y'all guys to really comment on this and think about this. We have yet to see Chris with anybody from Paige's family. We have yet to see Chris talk to anybody that deals with Paige, and we even haven't even seen Paige deal with anybody from Chris's family or even from people from her own circle. So what kind of, your friends are going to, we talked about a friend episode last week. We didn't see none of Paige's friends. She's talking to the cast members about the situation. I need to see your girl that was at your bachelorette, at your wedding. Mm-hmm. I need to see your mama. I need to see your brother who told you, you know what, you may want to not do this thing. I need to see some Paige family to gather around her to be a support system. Say, girl, you don't need anybody to treat you like this. Your family will give you some great advice. And again, we don't see Paige is on an island by herself with a wolf.
Yeah.
She's on her, and guess what? Production is not helping her none. They want to make good TV. This is my problem with production on this. They want to make good TV, and they put this young lady back in a situation where they knew she wasn't strong enough to say no when she was faced the wolf.
Well, the one thing I want to say is, I get what you're saying that, about starting over, but I think in this space, it was right there, it was some start over. It wasn't like, to me, this is the way I took it. It's not like we're going to dive head first into a relationship. It's like, let's start over as Paige and Chris from the beginning.
She slept with him tonight.
Don't do that.
She slept with him.
Don't do that. Don't do it. But,
She slept with him because that's the way he is. It been a week. Mercedes is going back home, whatever case may be, and he was feeling some type of way.
Anyway.
And I like Paige, but again, self-esteem, have some character about yourself. If you're yay, again,
she's a little double-minded.
She's double-minded too. If you biblical, you let your yay be yay.
And your nay be nay.
And your nay be nay.
Come on, just.
If your nay.
But she's not strong enough to. She's not strong, like you said. She's not strong enough to stand up by herself. The production is not helping. That's why I was concerned with where the experts in this. Just like you said, where's your family in this? Yeah. Where are your friends in this? To get you to be like, hey, snap out of it, girl.
Yeah,
snap out of it. You being mesmerized.
And that's why I don't have a problem with Clara speaking up. I have a problem with Virginia speaking up. As long as they speaking to Paige and giving Paige the encouragement and that motivation to do what's right. Mm-hmm. And so Paige has to take the advice. Again, she's getting advice from everybody. She's getting advice, and she's not following the advice. Pastor Cal said in several interviews, we advised Paige on what to do, but she grown and she made her own decisions. I don't blame the experts, because again, every expert said they've given Paige advice on what to do, and Paige chose to ignore their advice, and we'll see later on if it works out or it doesn't work out. But this is a train wreck. This is a train on a track that is not complete. It's about to go overboard. There's no way in the world unless Jesus Christ himself comes and intervenes that this relationship is going to work out. She's going to experience more hurt. She's going to experience more pain in this relationship. And I don't even know Chris. But based off the behavior that I've seen and the attributes, only can go off 9 episodes. And based off the 9 episodes, this ain't going to work out.
Yeah, so. But as... y'all do it anyway, but just let us know what you think.
Yeah, leave a comment in the comment section below. I may do a video by myself talking more about Pastor Dwight because I really have more to do to deal with the Pastor Dwight situation and him meeting with Paige. She may hop in on it, but look out for that as we do a video, as I may do a video on Pastor Dwight and his intervention.
Just leave me out.
Oh.
Anyway, thank y'all. Have a good one. Bye.